Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Arthur's Game Reviews. Today I'll be talking about Dead Island. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the characters. The first character we meet is Logan Carter, a former American football star. His ego and alcohol addiction finally put an end to his bright future after taking part in a reckless street race that caused the fracturing of his knee and landed himself in prison. After prison, he tried to go semi-pro and failed, so he traveled to Benoi to escape his now destroyed life. The second character that was introduced is Sam B. He used to be a successful rapper and had a hit song named Who Do You Voodoo. But it's been 10 years since his hit song came out, and it hasn't come out with any other good song since then. He now plays little gigs, but was invited to Benoi to play for a bunch of Hollywood A-listers for his last chance at revitalizing his music career. The third character we meet is Perna Jackson, an ex-police officer from Sydney, who lost her job because she shot a pedophile who was going to get away with his crimes because of his lofty connections. Perna now has a deep hatred for all people who use money to ignore legalities. She then decided to become a bodyguard and eventually found herself doing security for the hotel on Benoi. The fourth playable character we meet is Xian Mei, who was born in Hong Kong and is an expert martial artist, and an ex-police officer who graduated the top of her class in university. Xian wasn't happy with her work though, as she was looked down upon by her male colleagues. Xian was then sent to the Royal Palms Resort in Benoi to spy on the guests and gather intel, as she hopes to prove to her superiors how capable she truly is. Every character feels very good in Dead Island and comes with their own special abilities. Logan's is his rage mode, where he can throw an unlimited number of knives that do tons of damage. Sam's is his rage mode that allows him to use brass knuckles to beat down enemies. Perna's ability is to use her revolver infinitely until time runs out, and Zane's ability is to use her sword with increased damage and speed to cut down enemies. The thing I'd like to talk about is the different parts of the map and the significance of those particular parts. The first part of the map that we see is the resort. This is my favorite part of the map, and this is because it's the nicest looking by far and has a lot of variety in the biomes. This part of the map is where Act 1 takes place. Act 1 has the player figuring out the core mechanics of the game, and the end of Act 1 ends with the main character taking a car and driving to the city on the island. The second part of the map that we get introduced to is the city of Moresby. This is probably my least favorite part of the map. This is because the city's design is very gray and has a lot of places that look too similar to each other in comparison to other parts of the map that have a lot more variety. But what I do like is the difficulty gets decently harder and has many more types of infected than the resort. This is Act 2 and ends with our characters going to the jungle to figure more things out about the virus. The third part of the map that we see is the jungle on the island. This is my second favorite playable area in the game. This is because it's very lush and we get to see even more infected in the jungle. And the jungle adds a very eerie feeling to the game because you don't know where the infected are coming from, making it all the more intense. This is Act 3, and is my favorite act out of the four because it explores the origins of the virus and has the player trying to find the vaccine before they are killed by the zombies. This act ends with the characters taking a boat to the prison to hopefully leave the island. The fourth part of the map is the prison, on the outside of the island. This has to be the hardest part of the map though. I honestly couldn't tell you how many times I've died on this part of the map. This is because the prison is very close quarters and you don't have a lot of room to move around. And the zombies have a stupid amount of health. But despite it being the hardest part of the map, this is my favorite for the story. This is because the story is near its end, so I learned a lot more in the final act than I had the entire game before that. This is the final act and has the players discover a giant revelation and having to race against the time to stop someone from releasing a nuke to destroy our characters and the rest of the island. The final thing I'd like to talk about is the story. For Dead Island being a zombie game, my expectations for the story were very low. But despite this, I went into it with an open mind and really enjoyed the story. Even though the characters are okay at best, the game does a great job at immersing you into the world and making you care about the characters. The story also has many tension-filled moments that put you on the edge of your seat, like the one seen here.
Benotti is lost either way.
It's easy to kill millions of faceless nobodies, isn't it?
Stay back!
They hardly seem human.
Stop!
But killing someone you love, it's not so easy, is it?
Ah! Son of a bitch! Shit!
Thank you so much for watching Arthur's Game Reviews Part 3. The next episode will be coming out Sunday. Everybody stay safe and stay classy.